Hello guys, so welcome to my channel. I go by the name Ade Lisa. Okay, means we kind of disrupted the start of it. But if you're here, you're very welcome. If you're watching, so today I'll basically be going through F1 visa interview questions, as many as possible. I have up to 70 question and answers ready, but of course, I'll just go until I can because those are a lot of questions. And I'll probably do another part or go again live some other time because I'll have to stop in case of any interruptions or anything like that. So, guys, but feel free to ask questions about any other thing, traveling abroad, or any of my other videos you have watched so far. I'm open to answering questions, just that I'll be focusing on F1 visa interview questions and answers today. So thanks for joining. I have my using my iPad, my computer here with some question and answers. I just kind of wrote everything down. It's a lot because I could not have everything in my head. I'm not superwoman, but yeah. So, first of all, maybe we'll start by talking about what an F1 visa is. So, guys, if you want to travel abroad and you want to go through a school, and it happens that you want to go through, you want to study in the US, in the USA, you need a visa. If you want to if you want to travel, you need a visa. But if you want to go to the US, you need what they call an F1 visa, right? So this is the visa that they will give you when you're coming to study in the US as a student. Either you're coming to study linguistic, English language, or any other course, you get to receive this visa. So uh, yeah, that's basically what an F1 visa is. And most of the questions they're gonna ask you are in five categories. They'll be asking you, oh, and there's this thing keep shaking. Yes. Yeah, so they'll be asking you questions about your study plans, questions about the choice of your university, questions about your academic background and capabilities, questions about your financial status, and questions about your post graduation plans. So, while preparing or studying, you should have all of this in mind. So, these are kind of the questions they're going to be asking you. Yeah. So let's look at the first question that they usually ask, right? Why do you wish to study in the USA? And I've done this in my past videos, but I see people still have concerns. So we'll be looking at why this question and a sample answer of how you can go about this question. So this is one of like the most common F1 visa interview questions, and they are meeting you for the first time, and the interviewer already knows that you're going to the US for studies. But they ask this question because they want to deduce your intentions, right? They want to know exactly what your intentions are going to the US. Are you genuine enough? Or if you just pick the country because you wanted to travel out of maybe Nigeria, Cameroon, or wherever you are. So they need to know this. And this is your chance to prove that you're going to study in the US is important to your growth, is important to your education, is important in terms of your career. So this is so a sample answer of why you wish to study in the US would be I want to study in the US because it is one of the most popular study destinations for higher education amongst foreign students, and it has some of the best universities in the world. Universities in America support their international students. They have a flexible education system, actually diverse, have high ranking programs, and give students the opportunity to study and work as well. As you can see, most of my videos, they're employment opportunities, and this is true. You're able to work and study once you're in the US. And US has a diverse student community, and I would love to connect with other students from all over the world and also improve my English speaking skills if you're from a French speaking country. So this might be a kind of long answer, but I mean take this answer and formulate, make it personal. So rather than saying maybe a course of study, you more precise, right? So this is just a sample. And the next question will be why did you choose the course you are applying for? So I cannot really give you a specific answer because I don't know the course you're applying for, but whatever course you're applying for, you just need to get specific about it, right? So yeah, they really expect he wants to know what inspired you to select the discipline you chose or you're measuring in. And most importantly, if it's aligned to your career goals, right? So an example would be I'm passionate about studying, for example, clinical psychology or whatever course you want to study. And I would love to expand my knowledge of it in my country. We do not have many experts in this field, but I believe that what I learned during my studies will help me improve the existing systems in my country and equip me to stand out as well. Furthermore, this field is new in my country, and as such, there is a shortage of experts in it. This will help me establish a career once I come back home. Yes, they want to know you're coming back home. So this is just a sample answer, but you can always modify it, make it to to fit exactly to what you'll be studying. So that's just an example. And then the next question will be why have you decided to school now instead of starting a career? Maybe there are some people that you've already done your bachelor's, you're done, and you want to go for another bachelor's. Typically, they'll probably ask you this question. So you have to keep in mind that you are a minor who is going to the university for the first time. If you're just leaving high school, this like you be able to better explain yourself. But if not, you still have to come up with a good reason to convince them. However, if you're an adult that has already attended a university before, this question might be for you. If you're a minor that's just leaving high school, they might really not ask you this question, right? Well, an example answer you can say is I wish to further my education because the course I have chosen for my postgraduate studies will further enhance my knowledge about the career I am in. I strongly believe that the program I'm applying to study in will provide me with the know how I need to excel in my career path. So, this is just an example. You can always modify or not even use this, but just giving you guys an idea of what you can expect, right? And then another question can be which universities did you apply to and what are their names? I think this is quite straightforward, right? They just want to know if you apply to many universities or if you apply to just one university. Again, try to be as truthful as possible. It's not gonna hurt, yeah. If you apply to one, okay, but it's always advisable to apply to maybe three or four or five, and then you defend why you chose the university you went for. So you can see how you narrow down your search to the best schools which were a good fit for your career path and had provisions for your program. And you can see how you apply to Harvard University, Duke University, whichever university. You can name the universities you applied to. This is a straightforward question. And then they will just follow up by asking you if you got accepted by these universities. Yeah, you can tell them yes, you got accepted maybe to all or two or three, but you went down with this particular one because of the following reasons. And they might also ask you which schools rejected you and why. Most times they don't ask this question, but in case they ask, you can say maybe of all the schools I applied for, that blah 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 school rejected me, and this was because they didn't find me a good fit for their program, which is okay. I mean, not all schools are gonna accept or kind of welcome you, so it's okay to be rejected by some of the schools and say you're probably not a good fit, which is perfect. Because once you lie or you're like, no, all the schools are accepting me, I'm amazing. They start smelling that you're like, these guys have studied psychology, so you better be truthful. And they can just ask you, what is the name of the college or university you want to study in, and why did you choose it? Again, these people have this, they know exactly the university you're applying for, and but they don't know why you chose it. So they really more focus on why did you choose the university you apply for. But as I said, when answering all the other questions, if you elaborate a little bit, so for example, if they ask you of your if they ask you, were you accepted by all the universities? If you say no and then you specify the university that accepted you, you can just go ahead to elaborate why you even went for that university. So this will cancel out any other questions that they have to ask you about the university, because this has so many questions, but you maximum 4 minutes to get it done with. You have like 4 minutes to be over and done with. So you don't have all the time in the world, right? So you need to keep that in mind. Sell yourself, especially with the first questions. And then if they ask you, why don't you want to study in your home country? So what does US have that your home country doesn't have? Or you already studied in your home country like all through the undergraduate program, and you want to study abroad? Or your country is reputed as a reasonable place to study, but you still want to go abroad? So you have to tell them. So an example answer would be, yes, my country is reputed globally for having a reasonable educational system. That is, if it is, if you're from like a country that has a good educational system, yet it's not compared to that of the US. So the US is a home to the majority of high-ranking universities in the world, and obtaining a degree from one of these world-class institutions is a feat I hope to achieve one day. Additionally, the field of study I wish to major in is not taught in my country, and this thing keeps going up. And the schools in the US have more advantages than the schools in my country. So this is just how you can defend the reason why you studied and why you don't want to study in your home country. And then if they ask you, why are you changing your field? So this will apply in the case where maybe you're doing, let's say, economics, and then you want to go and study physics or medicine. Oh my god, like the complete switch. They will be curious, right? So you should also keep in mind that there are questions that, let me say, you should expect according to your personal situation. So this question might come to you if you're doing a switch. It will not come to someone who is not doing a switch, and they're just curious. And an answer you can give is, I decided to change my field from, let's say, journalism to computer science because for the past 2 years after my graduation, I've been working in an IT company where I have taken maybe UI courses and learned basic web designing techniques. I believe that practice and experience I've gathered in the last 2 years have given me enough knowledge to go into the field I'm switching to. I now wish to attend university for it so that I can get professional guidance and certification. Again, guys, these questions or these answers I'm giving are just sample answers. You can always play around them to fit your specifics, right? You can play around them to fit your specifics. There is no standard answer. This is just like samples to help you get ready. And before I forget, so I've gotten questions like, what happens if you're not able to book to have an interview date before school starts, or you're struggling to get an interview date? So there's what I call the emergency date. So if you realize that you want to travel and you're not able to get a date, there's an option when you go to the website where you can book for an emergency date. I think this option is available for all countries, especially when you're going through study. If you want to come and study abroad, yeah. So there's this option that you should check it out. Just check on the emergency dates and try to secure yourself a date before school starts. And now let's continue. So they can also ask you, do you have any loans? Again, this will apply to you if you actually have loans to pay or something like that, right? So the interview just wants to know if you have enough funds to cater for your education costs while living in the US. They don't want a liability. One wants you to come to their country and be a liability. So, and they want to know how you intend to get funding. But if you had a scholarship, again, this question will not be necessary because you just have to prove that you have, or you present them your scholarship, or if you've been sponsored, you present them your bank statement, and this question is cancelled. But if you took a loan or something, you have to tell them the organization and everything. If you don't have a loan, you say, no, I don't have a loan. But it's better not to have a loan. That's the safer way to go about it, not having a loan. They can ask you who is sponsoring you. You just need to know. So, guys, you need to know, yes, what your sponsor does, where he or she lives. Like, and you need to know your sponsor, because how will you explain to them that you have a sponsor and you don't know what the person does, or an average of how much the person is earning? Because you need to prove to them that you know this person will actually sponsor you. You're not just imagining things, or you do not just borrow a bank statement. No, you know this person is gonna sponsor you. And what do your parents do? Sometimes they want to still know because they know, your parents will probably be the main back behind you, like the people that will support you. So most times, if your parents are the one sponsoring you or they have good jobs, they know no matter how bad it gets, your parents got you. But again, if no, they don't, they understand that they have other family members that can sponsor you, that works too. But if they ask you, you just need to tell them what they do, how much they earn, so you can obviously say maybe they end up to 3 million a year, or annually, or biannually, however the case be. They can ask you, do you have siblings? They hardly ask this, but yeah, if they ask you, just need to tell them if you have siblings or not. And then they can ask you if you have relatives in the US. As I said in my other videos, having relatives in the US is not a problem, especially if it's not your direct relative, like it's not your brother, your mother. It's not your direct relatives, you can actually say no if it's not your direct relatives. But if you have maybe your brother or your mother, your father, they have these things in the system, you can't say otherwise, right? Because Americans deal with just the immediate family. That's what they consider as a relative or something. So you just need to be aware. If you have relatives and they sense that you might come and want to just stay, or they are doubting you anyway, this is the reason why they can say no. But if you do not have, it's better. But you're not going to remove your relatives from America because you want to go to America, right? So you just need to be truthful and be able to defend your reasons and convince them that you're coming here to study and nothing else. Okay, the next question will be, what is your undergraduate academic GPA percentage? So most countries usually favor student visa applicants who attain a certain score in their final exams over others, right? This is not the case all the time, but sometimes, right? And so don't be surprised if you're asked about your score. The interview just wants to know if you're academically sound enough to excel in your chosen course. Because if you're going to study abroad, then they expect you that maybe you perform well in your country, or you're a good student, you have a good track, and you're actually going to study. So you can tell them how you have 10 GPA and all of that stuff. I know all of you are brain boxes, so why not? But of course, this should not limit you, right? Some of us do not even get those amazing scores, but we still get accepted. So it's just you getting prepared accordingly, and you are ready to do it. And then they can ask you, what are you planning to study? Again, you should know your course of study and why you even chose the course. Not just, hi Johnson, hi Boladi. If you have any questions, please just drop them. Um, I'll try my best to answer. I'm just going through question and answers that you can get when you're applying for F1 visa. I'm already like at the 20th question. So yeah, because I've also been getting many people asking me questions. I've done videos upon videos, but people are still curious. I want to know how exactly to answer. So we're just going through that. And then they can also ask you, okay, yeah, I was just on what are you planning to study? So this would depend on your major that you plan to study. If you want to do business, so say you want to do business, but at the same time tell them why you want to do business, so they don't have to ask you more questions, right? So you just use whatever opportunity you have to nail it, to give them all possible best answers, but be brief and concise. You don't want to overtalk, but just nail it. And if they ask you, did you contact any professors at the university and what are their names? Guys, try to talk to your professors. This is a big talking point. This is a big point to show that you're really serious. If you were able to interact with your professors, even if you're unable to do um virtual calling or even just an email, write to them, they are gonna respond. I also talked to my professor, one of my professors, and this was a big talking point for me personally when I was applying for my F1 visa, because I had to say how I spoke to my professor. He showed me around campus. I knew a couple of their names. Go to their website and research. If you're not able to reach out to them one on one, go to their website, get their names, have their backgrounds, be able to defend it at the embassy. So it's very important. And having the issue of travel history, if they ask you, have you ever visited the US before? Um, Not having a travel history is not a problem, but having a bad travel history record is a problem. It's not good. So it's better you don't have a travel history record than to have a bad travel history record. If you've never been visited the US, you let them know you've never visited the US. And it's not a big deal if they see that you don't have a travel history record. But you tell them this is your first time. Yeah, but you don't over kind of explain how US is wonderful. No, just straight to the point. Don't make us feel like interested in the US even. Up. You don't go too deep in these kind of questions because they just want to see how enthusiastic you are about studying in the US, right? So you need to be careful not to overdo it. And then So I'm looking down because I had to write these questions down. There are so many. What are the reasons for coming to the US for studies? They want to know why this is the destination for you. Oh, my baby just woke up. Oh, yeah, I'll have to leave now. Maybe see you guys in the next live session if he doesn't go back to sleep.